So you take the lessons learned from 95. Let's cut forward, 10 years. You're bigger, you're faster. You've been known to have one of the best athletic golf swings that we've seen the past, 20 plus years. I feel like it's one of the first movements of its kind. But not only is Pinehurst waiting for you at the US Open in 2005, we're up against it going into the final round. Retief Goosen's got the lead going into the fourth and final, but so too, right there in the thick of it, is the big cat, Tiger Woods, at the peak of his power. He's wearing that Sunday red. So take us back to that Sunday morning for Michael Campbell. What's, the self-talk going into this one, and how you're not overawed by that situation?
Well, I think it was a great scenario for me if you think about it, because so Retief Goosen was leading by 3 shots, I think, or 4 shots. And I was coming third at the time after 3 rounds, and Retief won the year before. So he was defending champion. So I kind of said to myself at the beginning of the day, okay, top three, I'll be happy. Top three, and I'm happy with that. And then had the big cat, as you say, Tiger behind me by a shot. So there was VJ was there, VJ and Sergio. So it was a pretty strong field going into the last day. So my expectation that day was finishing third. That's what I cared about. And then after about 6 holes, my good friend Retief, in actual fact, we had lunch together. We were that close before the last round. So we're sitting there having lunch.
On
and
the
talking about
Sunday?
on the Sunday, yeah. So
Wow.
we're in the players' lounge just talking about stuff, about we both love cars and we're comparing cars. What do you have right now, Retief? What do you have in Campbell? Kind of thing. Talking about our families. Our families know each other. Our wives know each other. Our kids know each other. So it was just general chit chat, nothing too serious, nothing about golf. And as I walked away from that lunch with Retief, with Goose, I thought, he's got this, he's got this. So that's when I decided to kind of cement that third placing in my mind and go there and play. And then all of a sudden, after 6 holes, Retief fell away. He was having a disaster, and so was VJ, and everyone else was falling apart. And then after 6 holes, I'm leading the golf tournament. Because as you know, there's a leaderboard on every hole, and I saw my name go up and Retief go down, VJ go down, and all of a sudden I see another name, Tiger Woods, come up behind me. I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be fun. So all of a sudden it's just with 9 holes to play, just two of us. I think I was one shot ahead with 9 holes to play, and he was playing in front of me. So there's about, I don't know, 50,000 people following him, about 10,000 following me. But every single time he hit a good shot, hit it close, sunk a putt or good chip, whatever, I heard it, because I saw it in front of me. And you got to understand there's a different roar when it comes to a Tiger roar. It's just deafening, and the crowd goes berserk. It's kind of fun to experience that and feel it. You can feel it going through your whole body every time you hold a putt or hit a great shot, whatever it's going to be. So I pretty much saw every single shot unfold in front of me. I remember on the 10th hole, his playing partner had it left into some trouble, so he had to get it rolling. So he was standing there for 15 minutes on the tee box on the 10th hole, 9 holes to play, one shot ahead in a major against from the GOAT. He just won Augusta 2 months before. He won 10 or 11 majors by then. He was just flying. I mean, that era of from 97 to 2008 or 2009, 10 good years, he was winning everything, right? And I remember standing on that tee box waiting for the guys in front because it's par five, you had to wait. And his playing partner was having trouble. And, 10 minutes seems like 10 hours. So that's when I learned through the years, 10 years of learning of just trying to occupy your mind with positive stuff. So I remember reading a book on Bruce Lee book, and he goes on about the water. Energy's like water flowing through your body, filling your mind up with positive thoughts. And so I visualized a empty glass and filling up all positive thoughts with that until it overflowed. But there was one sentence that really came, I don't know where it came from. I have no idea. No psychologist taught me this, but it was something like, see this as an opportunity, not a threat. As soon as it was so powerful for me. When I said that to myself, I was so relaxed, and I thought, just enjoy it. Enjoy this moment, because it won't come along too often or too frequently. So, and I played some of the best golf in my life. I think I've birdied 3 holes. He had 3 or 4 birdies, I think. And I can't remember exactly, but it was great because he was birding a hole, I birdied a hole. We were like in like a boxing match, it was kind of cool. And so that's how it kind of unfolded. But the fourth thing he did was after I signed the card, as officially I won the US Open. So there was a presentation of the trophy, and it was on the 18th green. And in the previous, you know, see on TV, there's no second or third place, just number one, the winner of that tournament. In all majors, right, you see the presentation of the Claret Jug or the Wanamaker Trophy or Augusta or US Open. There's only number one, there's only the winner. But he was there with me, shoulder to shoulder. So I turned to him, I said, Tiger, what are you doing here? You know what he said to me? He said to me something that I'll never forget, to show you my respect. I thought, wow, that's cool. To have the goat, yeah, to have the goat say those things to me. It's my biggest moment in my whole career to receive my first major championship, winning the US Open, just like euphoria. I was like, I don't know where I am. My mind's just going crazy. And he stood next to me. So anyway, about 6 weeks later, I saw Stevie Williams. Stevie obviously is from New Zealand and caddy for Tiger at the time. I said, yeah, I can't believe that Tiger was there next to me at the presentation. He goes, yeah, and now I know why. And he said, yeah, I shared your story with him, the humble beginnings coming from, a sheep farm. So obviously him and I have are connected in that way. He went through the same kind of thing. It was very hard to get on golf courses sometimes because, back in the 70s and 80s, it was unheard of for a Māori person to play golf. So, I used to change my shoes, outside in the car park, very similar to Tiger kind of thing. So that's where that connection was made. And that's why he was there for me. So I'll never forget that. I mean, to have him next to me and to share that moment with me was truly, truly mind blowing.
Game, recognised game, fair to say they're one of the absolute all-time greats in Tiger Woods, paying his respects. And, it's fair to say, Michael, that not a lot of golfers bring that aura to the links out there on the golf course, but, you would famously rock the black and white New Zealand colours, the black pinstripes. It's quite a, Batman-ish, intimidating look on Sundays. You were never going to take a backwards step. And I absolutely loved about, watching you play with that kind of mindset. You're walking up the 18th. You've got a couple of shots, I guess, of a cushion to taking out that US Open. Does it start to sink in as you're making that third shot up onto the green? I think you went 21 for 31 in scrambling, or are you still just worried about the task at hand, saying, look, let's just get this into the house and we'll celebrate once we lift that trophy?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, actually. You're always going to jump ahead, right? Always jump ahead and think about the future. And I think you start thinking about consequences. It's important you keep in the present. It's very simple because the present is the point of power, I think, and this when you can influence what's going to happen in the future. Anxiety is all about the future. It hasn't happened yet, right? So it's all about just doing simple things like deep breathing, trying to get back in the present, looking around, like it's called locationals, where you look around and see where you are and make sure you don't jump ahead too much. But people don't realize that even my third shot, I had like 80 something yards for my third shot on a par four. I hit it in the rough. So you got to realize back in the day, it was very, very thick. You couldn't hit it out of the rough. So I had a good drive, just missed my fairway by 2 or 3 yards. I had to chip out sideways. So I had 80 yards. But people got to realize that 5 yards over the back of the green is out of bounds. So, yeah, so you can't really see that on TV because it goes kind of up and then goes down a hill towards out of bounds. Although it was, I had 80 yards to the pin, if I thinned it slightly, if I fatted it
Did that enter the chat, Michael? Like, is that going through the mind? You're there with your caddy. You ended up zipping it to about a foot, 2 feet away, make the bogey, you win the tournament. But do these thoughts go through your mind as you're getting ready to win a US Open? I know they would for me.
No, because for me, I had a process because I knew that 80 yards is 50 yard to green wedge. I use a clock system, grip it down 2 inches from the top of the grip, and then swing it my left arm to 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock through. So I knew, once again, you go through a process like anything you do in life. You go through a process, where you do a mathematical equation. There's a process to do that. Same with golf. If you have a process, it keeps you away from the actual end result. It keeps you in the now or the present time. So all I thought about was my process. Take it back this way, grip down the club, Yeah, so it's just basically I had to do those triggers to get away from don't fat it or don't thin it out of bounds. Of course, those thoughts come to your mind very quickly, but the quicker you squash them, which I did on that occasion with a lot of pressure around, but it wasn't really pressure. I really People say it's like in slow motion. People say that you're almost floating across the fairways. What I felt that day was that completely. I was in control of everything. It was such a powerful, amazing feeling.
You get it done. You win the 2005 US Open on one of the toughest courses. I think we've only had maybe 8 majors since that have finished even par or over par. That tells us all we need to know. Tiger pays his respects. You lift the trophy. How did the celebrations look after the fact? Does everything get a little easier, or does it bring in more challenges now being a major winner?
That's one thing that no one prepares you for is the aftermath of a major championship win. I remember maybe for a year, a manager used to come to my house and with an A4 paper, 4 pages of requests. It gets crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, I really admire these busy people, with rock stars, movie stars, sports stars, whatever, how they do it, how they manage it, because it was too much for me. But what I really enjoyed was I said, I'm going home. I want to share my success with my people and show to these young kids back home that anything's possible. And I said, I need 10 days off my schedule. And my manager said to me, I had a PA as well, yeah, 3 managers kind of thing. And they said, there is no 10 days, Michael. You haven't got 10 days. I said, no, Derek, I'm going home for 10 days. I went home and did a homecoming tour, and it was crazy, absolutely crazy. I can't remember most of it because a complete blur with stuff going on. But I wanted to go home, and I went to all the different schools around New Zealand. I'm not sure what you call it, but it's called low decile areas, you know what I mean? About that. And I really enjoyed that moment of just these kids, New Zealanders, young kids who look like 10, 12 years old or 8 years old, look at me going, wow, you can really do this? I said, yeah, it's possible, man. If you just dream, it could be anything, to be an engineer, or it could be a scientist, could be whatever, politician or any other sport. I just wanted to inspire them. That's why I went home. And I remember they organised a ticky tape parade in Wellington, really Main Street in Wellington. It was during lunchtime, so it was like 100,000 people turned up, throwing streamers from the top of the office buildings. It was just incredible. Excuse me. And after the event, I was talking to I was talking to the organizer of the ticky tape parade, and I said, "Oh," so my ego kind of kicked in. I said, "That must be the biggest one you've had." And he goes, "Oh no." I said, "What? Which one is the biggest one you've organised?" He goes, "Oh, the Beatles." So okay, I'll take second to the Beatles, all right?
Hey, that's not bad. You can beat out Tiger Woods second to the Beatles. What happens to the trophy, Michael? Do you get a replica? Does it stay in your possession for the next 12 months?
Yeah, I mean, the actual trophy itself is you have it for 12 months, 11 months actually. You got to take it back next because was at Wingfoot. Wingfoot was the next one. So I had it for 11 months. Very strict policies. You can't lend it out to anybody. You've got to keep it at home. You can't travel with it. But yeah, so I've got one now. I'm looking at it right now over there by the chimney. It's 90% of the size, but yeah, it's kind of special.
Major champion Michael Campbell. Great stuff.